Welcome to Yarn Creations by Lana. Since our weather here has decided to become fall overnight, I thought it might be kind of fun to learn how to make a fall project. These pumpkins are very easy to make. They work up pretty quickly, and you can change the size pumpkin, the shape, and the color simply by selecting a different color yarn, a different size crochet hook, or using more or less stitches. So for today's video, I'm going to use a size 5 bulky weight yarn. I tend to like the bulky weight yarns a little bit more than just the average number 4 yarn. Sometimes those are kind of thin and you can see the stuffing through them. So I tend to pick the bulky weight yarns. Now on this label, it tells me that I'm supposed to use a size 8 crochet hook, but I'm going to use a 6. Let's see how it comes out. Since I couldn't get the yarn to come out of either one of the ends, I went ahead and pulled the label off and just started unwinding it from the outside. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 16. So let's make your slip knot. And you're going to chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, then you're going to double crochet. You're going to skip the very first one and you're going to double crochet in the second stitch. And don't forget, I have a video on all of the basic stitches if you need a refresher. And you're going to just double crochet all the way down to the very last stitch. When you get to the end of the first row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now from this point on, and you're only going to do 10 rows, from this point on you are going to crochet in the back loop. Don't forget, each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. So we're going to crochet in the back loop only, and you're going to do another row of double crochets. At the end of every row, you chain 1 and turn it, and finish up 10 rows and meet me back here. Since I didn't follow the instructions on the label and use the correct size crochet hook, mine is actually going to be a pretty small pumpkin. But don't forget what I said, all you have to do is increase the size of your hook, or if you want a larger one, you can increase the amount of stitches that you do. Instead of starting with 16, you could start with 25 and make a bigger one. But this is what I ended up with, 10 rows, double crochet in the back loop only. That gives you a really cute little design. And then you're just going to thread your needle and you're going to slip stitch, fold it in half, and you're going to slip stitch up the side right here. Put the two ends together like this. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then I'll show you what to do when you get to the end right there. And you can tuck your starter thread, you can tuck that right in because you're not going to see it. It's going to be filled with stuffing. So let's finish that up. Now that you have sewn the ends together, you will end up at one end looking like this. All you do, instead of sewing it together like we did down the side, you're going to weave it in and out so that you can pull it together and make the bottom of the pumpkin. Now I've already done one half on mine. You just stick your needle in and out. You don't have to be precise. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on every row, but once you reach the end, right back to where you started, you're simply going to pull it together like this. And that is going to be the bottom half of your pumpkin. So then you just need to make a knot to hold that in place. And you can just weave it back and forth your end a couple more times to secure that yarn. I'll see how now that I must have gone quite a little ways in between, and I don't like how that looks sticking out. So all I'm going to do is put my needle back through it. You can really adjust the bottom however you want. Pull it back this way and it should take care of that part that was really sticking out. Yep, there we go. And I'm going to make another knot just to hold it in place. Since it's the bottom, we don't want any of that stuffing to come out. Weave it back through a couple more times to secure it. There we go. And we're going to cut that thread right there. Now we just have to fill our pumpkin with batting or stuffing, whatever you want to use. I have filled mine with just a regular polyfill that you can get at any craft store like Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And you just begin stuffing it until it takes on the shape that you would like. If you stuff it too full, you will see some of it through the stitches of your pumpkin. So just kind of work with it and see if you like the shape it is. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to weave the yarn around in and out of these stitches right here. After you weave your yarn all the way around the opening, just like you did on the other end, like this, you're going to pull it tight. I left a little bit of yarn at the beginning, and you're going to tie a knot with your existing yarn. You're just going to pull it tight. Leave a little tiny bit of an opening for a stem. Tie it in a knot. Take the beginning part of your yarn and just tuck it in like that. Now I left a nice long tail for this next part, and I also have an extra long needle. You do not need this. It just makes this part of the project a little bit easier, but you can use your regular darning needle for this. You're going to pull the yarn down around the bottom. You're going to insert it into the hole that we made at the very beginning after you sewed those two sides together, and you're going to push the needle through until you can feel it coming out the top right here. Oh my gosh, it doesn't want to come through. There we go. As you can see, it wasn't necessarily easy. All right, now we're going to give that a little bit of a pull. You want it to cinch up the sides just a little bit, and then you're going to go on the opposite side of where that yarn was. You're going to reinsert it into the bottom, pull it through the top again, working around this polyfill sometimes is a trick, especially because the needle that I'm using is not sharp at all. So it doesn't want to poke through quite as easily as the smaller needles, but it's a little bit easier to grab a hold of. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. You can adjust your thread. It wants to wiggle around. So let's see. Here's the first one over here on this side. This is the second one. We'll move it here and we'll pull it a little bit. Now you're going to do the same thing crosswise on each side. So you're basically dividing it into 4. So do the other 2, and I'll show you how to finish it up. Now I have done all 4 sides, and I just pull the yarn kind of tight. You can see where it just gives the pumpkin a little bit of definition. It doesn't look so much like just a round ball. Now what I would do is tie a knot here, however you would like, and leave a little bit of a tail. Cut it off there. Stick that down inside. If the hole isn't big enough for you to stick it down inside, you can always thread it through with your needle. There you go. Now I'll show you what I do to finish off my pumpkin. Now I have done all 4 sides, and And I just pull the yarn kind of tight. You can see where it just gives the pumpkin a little bit of definition. It doesn't look so much like just a round ball. Now what I would do is tie a knot here, however you would like, and leave a little bit of a tail. Cut it off there. Stick that down inside. If the hole isn't big enough for you to stick it down inside, you can always thread it through with your needle. There you go. Now I'll show you what I do to finish off my pumpkin. What I like to use are cinnamon sticks that you can purchase in just about any grocery store. It really makes the pumpkin smell kind of good. You can use 1 or 2 cinnamon sticks depending on how big the opening is. I just take a little twine, wrap it around, give it a nice bow, and then I will hot glue it and stick it right down into that hole. You could use 2 cinnamon sticks. If the hole is a little bit bigger, you could use lace or ribbon. You could put some dried flowers on it, whatever you would like to decorate your pumpkin, but it's just as easy as that. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and always feel free to share these videos. Happy pumpkin making, and until next time, happy crocheting.